Hello again, this is Joe Roberts with another YouTube tutorial. I realize it's been a long time since my last video, but I kind of lost interest in Tekkit since I beat Tekkit, honestly, and I've gotten into another mod pack recently called Feed the Beast. I thought I'd do some videos on that, but before I do I should tie up some loose ends with Tekkit, so cue the videos on factories that I should have done a long time ago. Anyways, this setup right here is my first solar factory. It's not very impressive, but it got me to 7 HV solars, and there's another major reason. I can build you a factory very easily that makes stuff out of UU and nothing else, but it's a lot harder to make a factory which makes UU out of, or makes solars out of UU and other stuff. This right here is faster than any factory you could do, plus it can make stuff out of both UU and other materials. The reason for this is because nether mining is ridiculously effective. I used to take 20-minute trips to the nether where I'd end up with like 10 stacks of iron ingots and a ridiculous amount of copper, tin, and redstone, and diamonds, which is kind of fun. And it's so much more effective than UU generation. Your Casic reactor will not get you to an HV solar. Nether mining will. Nether mine is going to get you your first 7 HV solars, and then you can think about fully automated factories which make stuff out of straight UU. Anyways, the setup is pretty simple. It's 2 rotary macerators, 2 induction furnaces, an extractor, and a compressor just because you can, plus an alloy furnace. The alloy furnace is definitely the slowest part of this entire setup, but it still processes about 1 iron per second, and most of your iron is going to come in iron form, in nether iron form, rather. I suggest copying this whole setup. It's pretty straightforward, just a couple bit of redstone pipes going to filters. The glass fiber connects you to your main power grid. Make sure it's LV, because all of these machines take LV unless you give them transformers, and an induction furnace doesn't allow you to give transformers, so it'll only ever take MV. Lots of power going into the alloy furnace. That's, again, the alloy furnaces are problematic. Remember this, you need to spin the machines up in the first place, and the wire has to actually be on the ground in front of them. The reason is because these filters over here, if you have the wire on the machines itself, it'll trigger the filters, and the filters will never turn off. Therefore, the output of the machine will never be grabbed. Pretty straightforward with the sorting machine as well. It's just everything that you need. Make sure it's on the right mode, and add nether ores to this if you want. Add mixed metal ingots and carbon plates to the compressor. Pretty straightforward. I'm sure you can figure out how sorting machines work. Pretty simple. Just stuff into that chest, have the timer running. It'll pull things out of the chest and automatically stuff it into the machines. The filters will then pulse on the same timer and pull stuff out of the machines. My first draft of this used a retriever instead of filters, but the retriever will only pull things out of the closest chest. It won't pull things out of anything further down the line. Like if there's stuff in this macerator, but there's also stuff in this extractor, then the macerator will, the retriever will pull stuff from the macerator, but it'll never pull rubber. Advanced machines process 1 iron every 0.6 seconds or so once they're fully spun up. You spin them up when you're online, and you turn them off when you're offline. Standard SGTekkit rules. You can set the timer to whatever you want. Just remember that if you set it to too fast, then you'll end up with a lot of stuff just running through the system, and see, already kind of doing that. But it'll all get processed in the end. You'll just have a bunch of random stuff through the system. You can also set whatever quantities in here you want. I have it at 10 because that's a round number. You'll end up with some waste in the system, like you see 1 tin, 2 bronze, 1 minecart, but that's always going to be less than the amount you have in here. It's just a couple dregs, and once you stuff more stuff into the system, then it'll still process that eventually, so it's not really a problem. The project tables are the other part of this setup. They're your best friends, absolutely your best friends, and they're a lot faster than an automated factory. Simple setup, like I mentioned in my previous video on iron generation, you can turn bronze into minecarts, which then gets alloy furnace back into iron. Once you actually have UU and you're a little past nether mining, then most of your time is actually going to be spent on bronze. Most of the machine's runtime is going to be on bronze, but while it's processing all of that, you're still going to go to the nether and get a lot done. So this is the straightforward setup. Basically, project tables, if you don't know how they work, is real simple. You just have stuff in the project table, you shift, click, you have a stack in your inventory. Note that it gave me more than one because it makes it 6 at a time, and 6 doesn't go into 64, so it just gives you the extra 2. Straightforward enough, just keep clicking until you get the stuff, go to the next table down the line, shift click it in, excuse me here, and boom, stack of circuits. Then go over to solars, stuff them in there. That's the one table I haven't set up yet, but it's real simple. Just keep going down the line. Like circuits, you can make more circuits. Don't have enough wire, go over and get some I don't have any copper, but you get the basic setup. Just make batteries, go over to generators, stuff those in, make generators, go over to solars, put them in there. It's straightforward enough. I mean, this setup got me to 7 HV solars, and then I decided to go into UU fabrication. Well, I'd been in it for some time. You can make up for what you don't have. Like, if you don't have enough UU, you don't have enough copper, you don't have enough tin, then you can make it with UU. But even so, the whole point of it is to be as efficient as possible, and using a single CASIC reactor to try to make an HV solar, that's not going to get you anywhere. A lot of people go into fully automated factories far sooner than they should, and honestly, a lot of stuff can still be done by hand and be a lot faster, especially with project tables helping you out, and a sorting facility to process all of the ores, because it'd be a nightmare to try to do this by hand.